My name is Sarah Miller. I am 30 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. From the outside, my life looked almost perfect. I had a steady job as a nurse at a local clinic, a cozy house with a small garden, and most importantly, I had a family I thought I could trust forever. My husband's name is Michael, and together we have a 7-year-old daughter, Emily. When people saw us walking down the street, they smiled. "What a sweet family," they would say. And for many years, I believed that was true. Michael and I had been together for a decade. We met in college, fell in love quickly, and built a life side by side. I admired his energy, his easy smile, the way he could make any room feel lighter just by walking in. He had his flaws, of course. He liked to drink a little too much with his friends, and sometimes he put work before family. But I always told myself no marriage was perfect. What mattered was that we loved each other, and we loved our daughter. Emily was the center of our world. She had Michael's brown eyes and my stubborn personality. She loved painting pictures of animals and riding her bike in the neighborhood. Every night before bed, she would ask the same story about how her daddy and I met in college. She would giggle when I described how Michael had spilled coffee all over himself the first time he tried to impress me. For Emily, our love story was the beginning of hers. For me, it was a memory I treasured deeply, until everything changed. It was a Friday night in late spring, warm and buzzing with life. The streets of Austin were filled with music and laughter as people gathered in bars and restaurants. Michael told me earlier in the week that his best friend from college, David, was having a big birthday party downtown. "It's been years since I've seen the whole gang," he said, slipping on his jacket. "I might be home late, but don't wait up." I wasn't feeling well that evening. I had a mild headache and decided to stay home with Emily. My mom, who lives just a few blocks away, offered to take Emily for the night so I could rest. I remember kissing her goodnight, brushing her soft hair behind her ears, and watching her run into my mom's arms with excitement. I didn't know then how grateful I would be that she wasn't home for what was about to happen. When Michael left, I curled up on the couch with a blanket and a cup of chamomile tea. I scrolled through my phone, half watching a TV show, half dozing. Around midnight, I glanced at the clock and thought, he's probably still out celebrating. That's fine. He deserves to relax. Trust was never a question for me. I believed in him. The next morning, though, something felt different. I woke up to the smell of coffee brewing in the kitchen. Michael was already awake, sitting at the table with his hands clasped tightly together, his eyes fixed on the floor. He didn't smile when I walked in. He didn't even say good morning. "Are you okay?" I asked, still groggy. He looked up, and I saw something in his eyes I had never seen before. Guilt. Real, heavy guilt. My stomach tightened. "What happened?" Michael cleared his throat, his voice low and unsteady. "Sarah, I need to tell you something. Please don't get angry. Just listen." My heart started racing. In 10 years of marriage, he had never looked so serious, so broken. I pulled out a chair and sat down, bracing myself. Then the words came out, words that would burn into my memory forever. "I kissed Jessica last night." At first, I thought I had misheard him. Jessica? The name hit me like a thunderclap. I knew exactly who she was, his ex-girlfriend from college, the one he dated right before me, the one I always told myself not to worry about because he had chosen me, not her. I stared at him, waiting for him to laugh, to tell me it was some terrible joke. But his face was pale, his jaw tight, his eyes filled with shame. "I was drunk," he continued quickly. "She was there at the party. She came up to me. She kissed me and I didn't stop her. It just happened. I swear it was only once. Nothing more." The room seemed to tilt around me. My chest tightened, and my ears buzzed as if the world had gone underwater. I gripped the edge of the table to steady myself. "What do you mean it just happened?" My voice cracked, louder than I intended. Michael leaned forward desperately. "Sarah, please. It was a mistake. A stupid mistake. I love you. I love Emily. Please forgive me." But I couldn't hear his excuses. All I could hear was the sound of glass shattering inside me. The glass of trust, of security, of the family I thought was unbreakable. That was the moment everything changed. For a long moment, I couldn't speak. The kitchen was silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Michael's words echoed in my head like thunder. He had kissed Jessica. Not just anyone, Jessica, the woman from his past. The shadow I had convinced myself was harmless. Then the silence broke. My chest burned with rage, my throat tightened, and I exploded. How could you? I shouted, slamming my hand on the table. 10 years, Michael. 10 years of marriage, a daughter, a life we built together, and you throw it away for one drunken night with her. He flinched at my words, his shoulders curling inward. It was one mistake, Sarah. Just one. I didn't plan it. I didn't want it. Please, don't let this destroy everything we have. Don't let it destroy everything. I laughed bitterly, though tears streamed down my face. You already destroyed at the moment you kissed her back. You had a choice, and you chose betrayal. Michael stood and reached for me, but I jerked away. My hands were trembling as I grabbed his duffel bag from the closet, yanked open the front door, and shoved the bag into his chest. Get out. Sarah, please. Get out of my house. My voice cracked, loud enough that the neighbors probably heard. But I didn't care. Anger and heartbreak boiled together, giving me a strength I didn't know I had. This is my home. I bought it before we even got married. You don't deserve to live here anymore. He froze at the doorway, his eyes red, his lips quivering. For a moment, I almost saw the man I once adored, the man who had held my hand in the hospital when Emily was born. But then I remembered his confession. The image of Jessica's lips on his was burned into my mind. Michael dropped his gaze and walked out without another word. The sound of the door closing behind him echoed through the house like a final judgment. I collapsed onto the couch, my body shaking, tears soaking into the fabric. My heart screamed, why wasn't I enough? Later that day, my phone buzzed. It was Michael. Then again and again, dozens of texts filled the screen. I'm sorry. I love you. Please, let's talk. It meant nothing. I didn't answer. When the calls didn't work, his mother, Margaret, called me instead. Her voice was calm but firm, the voice of a woman who had lived through her own share of heartbreak. Sarah, don't be too hard on him. All men make mistakes. My husband, he had his affairs too, but I stayed. We got through it. Family survived these things. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone tightly. Margaret, with all respect, I am not you. I don't want a marriage where I sleep beside a man who betrays me. Emily deserves better than that example. Think about your daughter, she pressed. She needs her father. She will have her father. I said firmly, my voice breaking but steady. But I will not have him as my husband. I hung up before she could argue further. My hands were shaking again, but this time not from weakness, from conviction. I had drawn the line, and I wasn't going to cross it. The house felt empty without Michael's presence. At first, the silence was a relief. No more lies, no more apologies that sounded hollow. But as the nights dragged on, the silence turned into something else, a suffocating weight pressing down on me. I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, my mind replaying his confession again and again, like a cruel movie stuck on repeat. It just happened. I was drunk. Please forgive me. His excuses twisted in my head until I wanted to scream. One night, I sat alone in the living room, the glow of the streetlight spilling through the window. Emily's soft breathing came from her bedroom. She was safe, untouched by the storm raging inside me. I held her stuffed rabbit in my hands. She must have left on the couch earlier, and I broke down. My tears soaked into the toy as I whispered to myself, what kind of example am I giving her? The next morning, Michael showed up at the door. He stood there with flowers in his hands, his eyes red and swollen, as if he hadn't slept either. Sarah, please let me in. Let's talk. I opened the door only a crack, my voice cold. What do you want? I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. I was drunk, I wasn't thinking clearly. But I love you and I love Emily. Don't throw this away. Please, Sarah. His desperation twisted something inside me. For a brief second, I almost wanted to believe him. But then I remembered his words. She kissed me first. As if that excused anything. You had a choice. I said firmly, though my throat ached with emotion. You didn't say no. You kissed her back. That's enough. His shoulders slumped. Tears welled in his eyes as he whispered, I don't want to lose my family. You lost us the moment you betrayed us. My words cut like a knife, and I closed the door before he could answer. That night, sleep evaded me again. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind flooded with memories of the good years. Our wedding day, the laughter we shared decorating Emily's first Christmas tree, the way Michael once rushed home from work just to rock Emily to sleep when she was colicky. Those memories were now poisoned by that single kiss. Could I ever untangle the good from the bad? Days turned into weeks. Michael's calls and messages never stopped. I miss you. I'm sorry. Please let me fix this. I ignored them, but my heart ached every time his name lit up my phone. One evening, Emily asked a question I had been dreading. She looked up at me with wide, innocent eyes and said, Mommy, why doesn't Daddy live with us anymore? The words caught in my throat. I forced a smile, brushed her hair back gently, and said, Sometimes adults make mistakes, but no matter what, your daddy and I both love you very much. That will never change. She nodded, but her little brow furrowed, confused. She hugged me tight and whispered, I love you, Mommy. As I held her, my chest tightened. This wasn't just about me anymore. Every decision I made would shape Emily's world. I wanted her to grow up knowing her worth, knowing that love should come with respect, not betrayal. But late at night, when the world was quiet, the ache inside me whispered another question. Could love ever survive a wound this deep? The weeks blurred together, but Michael never gave up. Every Saturday morning, he waited outside Emily's school with her favorite books. Every Sunday afternoon, he showed up to take her to park. He never missed a visit, never raised his voice, never once pushed me for an answer. I watched from a distance as Emily ran into his arms, her laughter ringing out like a melody I hadn't heard in months. He bought her ice cream, pushed her on the swings, read her under the shade of an oak tree. He was a good father. There was no denying that. But every time I saw the joy on Emily's face, my heart twisted. Could a good father still be a bad husband? One evening, after dropping Emily off, Michael lingered at the door. His eyes met mine, tired but steady. Sarah, he said softly, I'm not the man I was that night. I've stopped drinking. I've started counseling. I'm doing the work, not just for me, for us. I don't expect you to forgive me quickly. I just want you to see I'm trying. I said nothing. My chest ached with conflict. Part of me wanted to slam the door, to shut out his pleas forever. But another part, smaller, quieter, yet persistent, wanted to believe him. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on the porch while the cicadas sang, staring at the stars. My mind replayed the years we shared. The day he proposed under the Christmas lights. The night Emily was born. The mornings he used to wake early just to make me coffee before work. Those memories were tangled with the pain of his betrayal. Could trust ever be rebuilt once broken? Days later, Michael showed up unannounced, but not empty-handed. He carried gardening tools. Without asking, he began pulling weeds in the front yard, fixing the broken fence, mowing the lawn. Emily giggled as she helped him water the flowers. I watched from the window, arms folded, trying to suppress the warmth creeping into my chest. That evening, after Emily had gone to bed, Michael knocked on the back door. I stepped outside, wary, arms crossed. He wiped the dirt from his hands, his voice low but firm. Sarah, I know I don't deserve another chance, but I love you. I love Emily, and I'm willing to spend the rest of my life proving it. I don't want to be your mistake. I want to be your choice again. His words pierced me deeper than I wanted to admit. I looked into his eyes. For the first time in months, I didn't see excuses. I saw sincerity, remorse, change, and that terrified me more than his betrayal ever did, because it meant I could still lose myself in the hope of him. That night, Emily crawled into my bed. She clutched a rabbit and whispered, Mommy, can Daddy live with us again? We're happy when he's here. Tears burned my eyes as I held her close. Her innocence, her longing, it was unbearable. How could I explain that happiness built on broken trust was fragile, dangerous. Yet how could I deny her the chance to have her family whole again? I stared at the ceiling long after she fell asleep, torn between anger and longing, between the pain Michael caused and the love that stubbornly refused to die. The choice loomed before me, like a storm on the horizon, to forgive, risking another heartbreak, or to shut the door forever and live with the shadow of what once was. For the first time, I realized the decision wasn't just about Michael. It was about me, about who I wanted to be. The woman who walked away from betrayal, or the woman who believed in second chances. The battle raged inside me, and the answer was closer than I wanted to admit. The decision did not come overnight. It grew slowly, like dawn breaking after a long, endless night. For weeks, I carried the weight of two lives, one where I forgave Michael, and one where I closed the door forever. Both futures haunted me, but only one gave me a sliver of peace. One Saturday morning, Emily and I were baking muffins. She hummed softly, her little hands covered in flour. Suddenly she looked up and said, "Mommy, I like it when Daddy laughs with us. You smile more when he's here." Her words cut deeper than she knew. She was right. Even in my anger, even in my pain, Michael's presence brought a light into the house. And I realized something. I wasn't holding on to anger because I hated him. I was holding on because I was afraid. Afraid of being hurt again. Afraid of believing in someone who had once betrayed me. That afternoon, I asked Michael to come over. He arrived nervously, clutching a book for Emily. After she ran off to her room, I gestured for him to sit at the kitchen table. The same place where, months ago, my heart had shattered. "Michael," I began, my voice steady though my hands trembled. "You broke something in me that night. Something I thought could never be fixed. I hated you for it. I hated myself for still loving you." He swallowed hard, his eyes never leaving mine. "But I watched you these past months." I continued. "You didn't just say sorry, you showed it. You didn't just want me back. You worked to earn it. And I can't ignore that. I can't ignore what I still feel." For a moment, silence hung heavy between us. Then I whispered the words I thought I would never say again. "I forgive you." Michael's eyes filled with tears. He reached across the table, but stopped waiting. For the first time, I chose to place my hand in his. "This doesn't mean I've forgotten," I said firmly. "It doesn't mean everything is magically fine. It means we start over. From the ground up, with honesty, with patience, with respect. If you fail me again, there won't be another chance." He nodded quickly, emotion choking his voice. "I understand. I promise, Sarah. I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of this." That evening, Emily danced around the living room as we sat together on the couch. She giggled, her eyes shining with joy. For the first time in months, our house felt alive again. Not perfect, not without scars, but alive. Later, as I tucked Emily into bed, she hugged me tightly and whispered, "Thank you, Mommy." I kissed her forehead, my heart swelling with both love and fear. When the house grew quiet, Michael and I sat outside on the porch. The summer air was warm, the sky scattered with stars. "I never thought we'd get here," I admitted softly. "Neither did I," he said. "But I'm grateful, more than I can ever say." I leaned back, breathing in the night air. I knew the road ahead would not be easy. Trust would take time. Old wounds would resurface. But I also knew something else. I was no longer the broken woman who cried alone in the dark. I was stronger now, and this time, I was choosing love not out of need, but out of hope. Life is never perfect. Marriage is never flawless. But sometimes, when two people are willing to fight, not against each other, but for each other, second chances can create something even stronger than before. And as I sat there, Michael's hand in mine, Emily's laughter echoing faintly from her room, I realized that maybe, just maybe, we were building a new beginning. One born from pain, but rebuilt with truth, resilience, and love.